shot him down early on.
Can the guard shut them down early on? That is the question here in the pistol round. We get started, and there is a chance, a very minor chance. I think we had a less than 1% pick rate for OR Esports to take this series, but it sure would shake things up in Group B if that was the case. As we haunt out towards A, nothing spotted inside Art, with an aggressive inside A main, and just like you pointed out, Dryad, it's Zeldris, tip of the spear here on the attack.
I want to see those fast rounds actually coming through for OR, right? But I mean, there's so much on the line here to get that confidence going on for this team that you gotta be careful as they get ready up and look at who's on that backside, right? It's gonna be Trent waiting to potentially use that dart. Play around it, play around that information game. The OR Esports is gonna deny at least early on.
The problem with this map is, although it's new and crazy things can happen on it, is that this is how the guard want to play, right? This composition is their composition. And look at the comfortability. Net just on an island out towards B, so comfortable to hold that site solo. And 4 other players are here at A, which is where OR want to end up. Now they're running out of time. 35 seconds rotation back to B. This kind of has to be your final destination unless you're booking it through the spawn.
30 seconds left.
The double back. The double back.
Yeah, because the Astra stayed there the entire time. Just kind of going back and forth, but now the back's against the wall to get the spike planted and know that the guard is going to be here.
Yeah, the double back from the guard as well. And they rotate off for just a second, but they read it so beautifully. Nothing inside the link, nothing out towards long, nothing B. They all die A, and the guard will find the pistol.
There was no reason as well for the guard to make any sort of crazy rotations towards that B side, even after they couldn't hear anything on that A side anymore, right? You have the Killjoy utility for a reason, and the Killjoy utility, it wasn't activated. It wasn't ever contested on that B side, so you make it work, and this is something the Net is incredible at. Just getting some trap plays going on, getting some early information for his team to work with, and on top of that, he can frag and be one of the best in challengers. You don't get to see any crazy buys, any stingers in the meantime. But strong buy for the guard, Vandal in the hand of Tex, the newer player for the guard, and a player that, I mean, has been so good on this jet as well.
Right there.
Yeah, pretty convincingly a plug and play from Sayada Tex. It's worked well, as Bach said in the player interview with the guard. They love having Tex on the team. He fits his role perfectly, and his role here in this round is to play long-range angles, not get caught off guard, and make sure that Vandal makes its way into the second round. Or Esports flirting with the idea of playing mid in both of these rounds. I love that. This is great to get started here on Pearl, to kind of create the question marks. Unfortunately, the B push might not be the most potent because, well, they've got Classic for the most part. So Valen will find the first. Eldris is able to trade one out. The Bulldog takes a bite, and okay, damage yet here from OR Esports. Now VNS is going to try and push back sight, and Tex is a right click away from death. This rifle could end up in the hands of OR Esports with 2 bullets left. Tex actually going to swap to the Classic of his own. Right click out, that's the spike down, and Tex is good for 3.
Knowing as well that his player is so low, he's gonna get it away with the Classic. I mean, you buy a Vandal into the round, Classic is gonna be the one that closes things out.
Yeah.
Good one for the guard there. Make it to 2 so far in Peril. In a quick reposition as well for Tex, right? It got risky for a second, was playing on top, had to drop, got flashed, got marked by the Haunt. I mean, everything going on, but it's still being so cool with it. OR Esports rifles in their hands. Let's see what they can do towards this A side.
And no Stinger buy in round 2. Leaving it to be an anti-eco means they do get the earlier rifle buy here. Oh, VNS in a bad spot. 3 players just on the other side, trying to play strength. The numbers are the guard, and there's a lot of strength there. Damage back and forth. Both smoke players taken low, but still alive. So smoke's available. Control still available. But with that info, the guard back away.
Valen, low, 6 HP because of it. But nobody got taken down, right? It was that expected aggression from the guard on this B long, and still waiting for it. Now we have to back up. Yeah, there's nothing else that you can do.
And I mean, how much harder does the entry now look? Because Zeldris can't be the first one on. You can't be on your front foot.
As well.
Good flash in the backside. That'll slow things down for a second. 35-second Haunt comes out. Aftershock to follow. Good fault line finds the stun, and the shots will land onto Tex. Meanwhile, damage still flying, and the Bulldog still biting as Jonah will find another for the team. Util dumped back site, and OR Esports struggling here to get onto this B site. Sure, they've assumed the position long, but that's all they've done. And 21 HP is where VNS started. This is where he'll end. No, instead it's 0. To find the end there, Net swings on through, and the round goes away of the guard.
Third round here, and it was the rifles for the side of OR Esports, yet nothing could be done, and that was all thanks to Jonah P. It was forced the knife gets every single one of those players, continues to push forward, continues to keep OR so aware of his positioning, and then throws a flash, all to create that delay for the guard to make that rotation. Deny the push for OR, and now force them to get those stingers that we haven't seen just yet. Operator for Tex. And this is what you would assume, right? That OR Esports wants to do with the race eventually on that defensive side, but the guard, they can get a crazy lead here.
This does not look good, and not a whole lot of extra oomph behind the stingers, right? Everybody really just a little out of reach of the ultimates for OR Esports, and nearly not even on the right side of this A site to play for the orb to get that lockdown. So they're just going to opt into 5 players, looking to split this A site. Spike not committed just yet for OR Esports, and it's actually Zeldris to start farming up the ult.
He's going to get spotted here. The player starting to push hard, and it's a little bit of a split to make it to A. Everybody playing far back though on this defensive side. The darts should be able to get some information. Good combo here with the C's, but doesn't turn into a kill.
And the nade was just a second too late there on the C's, and like you said, no kills found. However, Zeldris does find his way into the kill feed. Trent low on HP, but he'll look to take another duel for himself as he plays the high-low, and Zeldris is just dancing. He's just cutting a rug. Unfortunately, takes 2 to tango, and he was the only one alive for OR Esports.
The guard, they were playing this so far back on the A side. It is what they did when they played that tournament and they played against TSM. They gave that comfort of either going for the trap plays on Link with the Killjoy utility, or knowing that it was going to be the KO, this Sova, backside and ready to shut down the entry from A. So it becomes so much more easier. And then you only have the presence of an operator. Actually, no. The hands of Trent.
Sova up. Sova up. So I think there's two layers to this Sova op that are maybe falling a little short. Is
No, they exchange it.
Okay, they did. Yeah, my thoughts are, if you spot the jet and there isn't an ult or an op, you're not expecting an op. Now we're talking ult, so we're talking boom boxes, we're talking rockets, and Zeldris is on the hunt, and he is going fishing. He shoots the rocket into the barrel. Unfortunately, that fish just a bit too tanky, and Jonah still gets one.
How, though? I'm not really sure how that went down. So much damage as well. The ultimate trying to play it faster, right? But when we hear the ultimate is trying to clear out that side and towards mid, it doesn't manage to do too much, though. The lurk here. Cornelius is going to enable that lockdown to be available. Clearing out some space, and this is what OR have been trying to do.
Spike down.
Okay, Net the martyr there. Looking to catch somebody off guard, and he did just that. He was going to sacrifice his life for the lockdown, and he goes 1 for 1 at the end of the day. And this retake, I mean, it's a difficult one. Sure, the blades are online, but do you opt into this in a 2v3? With the operator still in the back of Tex. Cosmic Divide comes down. Ooh, we trade Cosmic Divides. And things now looking difficult. Another star goes down. Nano Swarm there. And we're just cut inside the purple walls. As Tex looks to go aggressive on the outside. He'll find one player out towards main. No, he won't, because the Cosmic Divide of Valen actually blocks him off. And yeah, the spike is half. Somebody has to make a decision here. Somebody has to push aggressively. It's the paint shells. That's the decision. But the defuse is better. The kills go the way of OR. But it's the guard for 5.
That is so good. Not having the numbers and still going for that ultimate. Playing it around. It looked insane. Just a purple room in a corner with a Nano Swarm in the middle. They had to wait it out, but the guard just played it so well. Those Cosmic Divides. The guard, they do them to perfection. Sometimes they like to have that combination of the Cosmic Divide and that lockdown for the retake. Obviously, that round wasn't a possibility, but it shows the impact that this composition and these players can bring to a round like this one, where it seems like everything was against them. 5-0 and OR yet to find an answer.
And we highlighted Zeldris, and we also kind of mentioned Nilly and Nilly's mindset coming into this series, coming out of week 1, and obviously it not getting any easier. But Nilly is another large tool for this OR Esports team, and consistency in Nilly is consistency in the rest of the team. So this is a great start for Nilly and Zeldris, personally, individually, sure, but the rest of the team just cannot find it. I mean, the timing is just a little bit off, right? The pistol round where they're going back and forth, they're a little unsure as where they want to end up, and they run right back into the guard. Even in that last round, the paint shells are just a moment too late, and the round prior, where they don't stack the C's on top of the paint shells to kill Trent back in that dugout. It's the minor things that hopefully this timeout for OR Esports are able to shore up, and now we can see this team that is so strong on Pearl continue to be that.
When OR went against M80, they were constantly pushing Art. They were constantly going for this mid control. Same thing that they're doing right now, right? But that information is information that the guard already has, and they take advantage of it perfectly. Zeldris, the key piece that you need to be alive, is no longer going to be there this round. And in the meantime, the guard, they don't have to do anything else. They know the push is going to end up on Art in some form or the other. The Owl Drone is going to spot just that.
Valen refusing to give up space here. He was playing a bit of an off angle the first time, catches Zeldris off guard. And with that information garnered, lockdown comes through. That's just going to take more time off the clock, and it's going to force decisions, right? It's going to force OR Esports. Well, they actually want to lean out towards B here. They still want to try and hit this site. Util dealt with. And no defenders on it directly, so seemingly allowed to plant here. But the guard are still a player ahead.
They're going to go for the spike planted here.
Spike planted.
Off your feet!
Uncomfortable position though, but the Rolling Thunder is going to allow them to push forward. But making it pass though, it's not easy to do. A little bit of a crossfire early on. Still the numbers for the guard.
And the problem with the guard, though, is they're all coming from the same spots here. Everybody from spawn, and the cross is set up. Fragment goes out. Util starting to get dumped here. Liren Joan already dealt with. Okay, I said there's a problem, but maybe not. This Nilly battles back for 2. It doesn't matter. The guard are swift in their site take and swift in their victory as the 6th will find its way on the board.
Everybody was alive. Everybody, like you said, was playing together, but it wasn't really an issue, right? OR and the spike planted. It wasn't planted towards long. They had to play up close, and the guard were ready for it. To get that early crossfire, to get the early takedown, and even with the operator on the retake, it just seems like there was never an issue for the guard to deal with. Clean retake as well. As a guard, they get T6. There's another thing though, and especially it happens on that B side. Lear has to invest so much utility early on. And that is before the spike gets planted, then doesn't have enough time to re-clear it. There's small things like that that OR has had to deal with, not only here, just like in that last round, but also when they were going against M80. So I would love to see how they played around it.
Revealing area.
This just feels so brutal.
And it's always art. It's always art, and it's always a killjoy utility.
I mean, what is that? Hearing the footsteps? Is that what that was? Net hears the footsteps. First pops a nano swarm, then allows Alarm Bot to do its job. Hunter Shiri comes through, so the lockdown won't have any contention in the next couple of rounds, but won't be had for the next couple of rounds. And the guard just doing the guard things here. Again, refusing to give up his Nilly as he finds two for himself. The spike is planted. They're a player down here in OR Esports. The weaponry, not the best in the world here for Jonah. He's going to be next up to take this fight with Trent, and he's the next one down. Valen low as that turret is dealt with. Nilly going to try and hold on. A Killjoy versus Killjoy. Net out on top, and there's just so much again from this guard defense. The layers of the util, the layers of the setup for everybody around the map. I mean, the guard are how are the guard taking so much space without even really taking so much? They've got this world
so
where
good.
Tex just pushes all the way up B, and then there's literally nothing OR Esports can do because Net is inside the spawn, making sure nobody's link, and the defenders on A are so safe from Art because Net is also just doing that. It's so oppressive.
Yeah, and another reason why is that combination between Net on the Killjoy and Jonah P on the KO, where it is that Killjoy utility coming off, and then Jonah P swinging off of it, with that KO already even providing so much information off contact, when they didn't even need to. And like you said, that is granting and giving so much space for the guard to work with. And look, you go on the B side, this is what he talked about, you're gonna have to invest so much, and also, what a shot for Selgis to go down. You have to invest early utility just to make it a little bit closer, and there's an operator still all the way back.
Ooh. And things you hate to see at the start of the round. Fragment goes out. It's going to force a few players back. They know that Nilly's stuck in the corner, and they'll push him. And the lockdown as Tex will keep his teammate alive. No, Jonah P will just do it himself. It's the full house between Jonah P and Tex for another round win.
That is all those two playing it together. And that shouldn't be happening, right? For Jonah P to be pushing that lockdown? You know the Killjoy's gonna be up close, right? But nobody swings in time. And if they swing, they're gonna find Tex. It's just so well executed. What a nightmare setup to deal with anyways. With a Fragment behind that pillar. The guard, they make it to 8. Can they stop? It's another eco too.
I mean, we've seen crazier things. There is a chance. Right, we can take a look at what that chance could be, right? Let's try and find that light at the end of the tunnel here for OR Esports. Obviously, 4 rounds.
Yeah.
Still on the docket. Nightfall for information. And they've got this space out towards mid. They forced Net off of this angle. He cannot stay and fight. Now Trent is going to be in an awkward spot. Sure, once they push onto the site, they'll be crunched between Tex and Net. And no, instead, they just leave Tex on the island. And they want to concede this site. Meanwhile, look at the space being taken out towards B. OR Esports just getting completely crunched once more.
And just nobody pushing forward, nobody playing too aggressive. Maybe the only one is Tex, but nobody's there to take him down, especially with that operator. Are they even going to be expecting Tex here?
Stay down.
Of course not. Not expecting him at all. No way. The fadeaway shot on Talir. And I know this guy wants some more. The no-scope doesn't land. And his team, no, he does it himself. Tex for 4. Trent will cap it off for the investor flawless.
Here's just no way. Tex is getting away with it. The operator gets 2. And then the friends is going to help out for the last ones. What a performance. The only player, the only one that was in a 4%, an aggressive position by himself was Tex. And look at the way that he handled it, just perfectly.
How did no frenzy bullet miss? Not a single frenzy bullet miss. I feel like somebody just dropped me on my head. And I'm sure OR Esports are feeling that same exact way. It was Tex picking him up and slamming him down powerbomb style in that round, making a statement. An uncharacteristic miss, sure, in this next one, but you know that you're not getting any more of those if you're OR Esports.
It's been so rough, right? It's been so back and forth. Again, there's the arc push that comes through at some point of the other, that swing that comes from it. And if not, it is this B hit where a retake is always ready. And that's what is going to happen. Again, just playing towards Link. Far back.
One down.
Goes down, actually.
Planted.
Yeah, Jonah, usually good for his one. Dealt with early. Nagarta player down once more. We haven't quite seen a retake like this. Good shock dart. Lear just so low. Rolling Thunder comes through. Deals with the members. Trying to push on through. VNS, fortunately, also at the butt of that one. Knives are out. Valen gonna find that kill. Tex will fall, but Trent's still battling forward. The guard are still battling forward. Down to the last two here. And Zeldris, as he dies in back halls, Jonah can only hope to pick up the pieces as the Cosmic Divide subsides. There's a stun here in just a few seconds, but he's got to fight his way to the spike. And Trent won't allow it. The retake, only losing one for the guard, is just as good as the last 9 rounds.
And another one where that Cosmic Divide has a massive impact for the guard to go for it. Knowing there were even some ultimates, it was pretty much the same setup that they had early on for the retake. Playing towards Heaven and waiting for that Cosmic Divide to hit. Waiting as well for that Rolling Thunder to hit for the setup of OR. And knowing that OR, they were not going to play it long. They were going to play with some personal where the guard feels more comfortable. And it's going to be incredibly frustrating, right? Not only you're down 10 rounds, but also it just feels like the shots aren't landing for OR. When they come down to those duels, it just doesn't seem to be enough, and that is incredibly frustrating to.
And it's... You can't blame them. You know, again, they've had the hardest weeks. This is the next hardest series, and they already had a tough one last week. So coming into this play-in, the Titans that are the guard, you can't blame them for being a little shaky, for being a little nervous, especially when some of these players are still finding their way. But it's a good start here. They deal with the first one. They only get traded a little bit of damage. Fragment comes out. Shock Dart stops the plant. And it's starting to fall apart once more. A flash through the Cosmic Divide. Zeldris, unfortunately, going to get backstabbed as he tried to turn around. He couldn't quite win the duel, but the trade is there. So 3v3 is where we land as the stars come down once more. And Net wants to play inside. Has a turret. Has an alarm bot. Can maybe stop this plant. Cross being held. Nil with a good kill. Make it 2. This is a winnable round. But Trent can do Trent things here. Nanoswarm onto the spike. Player main. The player dugout there. Cubby. That one dealt with. The player main dealt with. Oh my god. Trent made it look doable. But finally, OR Esports are on the board.
I got so scared for a second, turned into a 1v1, but Jonah just able to enter in time. First round here, though, for OR Esports. It's a long way to go if they want to make it at least close on this map. A map that we saw them win against MA week. But I feel like more than it speaks about how this score is going in the first half, it's speaking so about how good the guard are. I mean, just absolutely insane performances from every single one of these players. Another A-hit attempt here, early on. Operator. First one to potentially get contact here. But no, it's gonna be just getting the orb, backing up. The last round.
And we go back to the silence. Here in the attack for OR Esports. Playing it slow, playing around the map.
There.
Leaning out towards B.
There.
And has making sure nobody pushes aggressively. The rest of the team working their way through Link. They're going to have to answer to Jonah P again.
It seems like not the Astra. And that was the indication even before hearing anybody on Link. Jonah P already knew where this round.
And this guy a one-man machine. Not a play on the KO, but actually a one-man machine. He's just holding them in place. There's no way that OR Esports can deal with the bot. It is Jonah P. 3 kills on the round. The last 2 sure are still there. With 13 seconds on the clock, they have to get that spike planted. They have to defend the lockdown, but they can't. The spike is fallen. VNS is nowhere near it. And the guard do it again. It's 11-1 at the half.
Switching sides.
An insane score, but for the guard and for the guard fans, this is exactly what you expected to see. This is the guard that everybody's talking about. Absolutely unstoppable. Getting every single one of those duels. It's ridiculous what this team was able to do. I know they talked about it in the interview last week. They've been practicing since October of last year. That is more practice than anybody else, more experience than anybody else at the top level, even international level. And it's just really showing off in the lobby.
Okay, this is the part of the broadcast, though, where we find once more that ray of hope for OR Esports. This is their strong side. They went 9-3 against M80 and brought it all the way back here on defense. Now, as you would expect, 2 more rounds go the way of the guard because they are assumed to be the best team. But OR Esports can still find a way. They only gave up 1 round on their defense against M80, and they have that 1 round of wiggle room. It won't mean a map win, but it will mean an overtime.
They're gonna wait this so patiently. Valen was actually looking at mid, making sure nobody was gonna make that push. And this is something that he likes to do on the Astra on this map, just going for a lurk, even after that spike gets planted and getting some right timing.
Got him.
But it doesn't matter. The flash, the combination of utility just seems to be good enough.
More than good enough. More than good enough are the guard.
Else?
And if you're OR Esports, what can you do? Boombot goes out for information. Doesn't find a whole lot. Push inside the smoke, and VNS already dealt with. Dash away to safety. The long-range battle goes the way of Jonah P. As Nilly left to pick up the pieces. An investor flawless here to push us to 12.
One more round for the guard to close a map that, compared to the match that we saw before, has been incredibly fast, right? Every single map from the match number 1 of today was so back and forth between 2 teams, and this one is just a statement from the guard. How good they are at this map, how good they are against OR Esports, and OR still trying to find any opportunities, any spaces to get something done, and that's gotta be the Stingers.
The guard are seemingly just in a league of their own. As I say that, though, we go right-click burst battles, and the Stinger bests the Bulldog. That doesn't feel great, but for OR Esports, they're happy to have that one. Meanwhile, Nilly's just in the grinder here in a rough spot.
No, 3 of those stars. Just doing anything to slow down the guard for what could be the last round, but there's phantoms in their hands and a couple of players as well. Nearly low.
Spike down.
Jonah, though, good answer.
That's a great answer. That's everything you needed from Jonah. A beautiful stun. He capitalizes off the back end. He finds a 4. Tech's still alive, but only for a moment. And there it is. You can stop holding your breath now. OR Esports, they hang on. They find a second round, and they did so in thrifty fashion.
And that just took a little bit of everything that the OR Esports had, but this is just what you have to do, right? When you're going against the guard, taking it with all those stars, with all that patience, and the potential quick rotations that we might see. We got to see in that B side, and
We are strong.
they just need those numbers to make things even.
Bit more scattered are the guard here, looking for individual plays. Tex turns on the winds, forced to dash away. Tailwind now expended, but a bit of damage taken And Jonah happy to scare off the Jet. The other Jonah, though. The other Jonah.
Oh, and there's gonna be two here. That's so scary when Lear goes down. There's so much respect that has to be given, right, to the guard, even with these kind of guns, even with these kind of weapons in their hands.
30 seconds left.
And Jonah's gonna want to creep up for this one. Zeldris,
Oh, no.
good to punish there, expecting somebody wanting to look for an upgrade. That's exactly the case. Turret gets information, and Nilly lines up two and takes him down, making three. Wants a fourth. He'll find a fourth. It's Nilly's round.
To run.
Nice, good control here for the defense for Nilly. And good for 4 and keeping OR alive as much as you can. Anything that it takes. Nilly has had a good map overall. You look at the kills, you look at
Down B. One enemy remaining.
the way that he's playing around that utility, even the Astra, to get something done. It's been good. It's just the guard overall having, well, it seems to be that better coordination, right?
Mm-hmm.
The better synergy that it really seems to be unmatched. But now, back in track with those rifles. Is the guard on attack? There's 2 players up close.
It's a good read from OR Esports. A couple of players close to their ultimates, whether it be the Knives or it be the Hunter Shuri. They know the guard aren't going to play for that orb. They try and punish early, but at the end of the day, they have to sacrifice.
And the ultimate that is going to be available is that Hunter Shuri in the hands of Trent. Just sounds like a nightmare to deal with as well. For post-plant scenario, even early on, as Trent likes to do it sometimes. Very early on, got some information. That's when the Hunter Shuri goes down. Gets one, and there it is, numbers advantage. So many good possibilities for the guard to be able to close it out here. And Seldris is the strongest one here on this A side that has to shut it down. But look at how far back he's playing, right? With the operator.
Nowhere to run!
Here comes that Hunter Shuri. Oh, and there's just nowhere to go for
30
VNS.
seconds
He's
left.
just completely corralled, as the boom bot will also be dealt with. Paint shells out and over the top, but the site has been assumed. Tex, he didn't need the orb to find his ultimate. He's now got it in way of kills as Nilly creeps on up. He grabs a kill onto net. He'll now have to deal with Jonah P, and the rest of the squad are pushing through, and Jonah's just running and gunning as it's all up to Lear with a Vandal. Zeldris with an operator in a 2v4. Zeldris will look to take the high ground. His head is spotted, but the body is shot, and it's Jonah P. It eventually falls. 1 kill now away from the paint shells, the swing from the knives, and Tex takes matters into his own hands, and the guard will close the book here on Pearl and deliver a second loss to OR Esports on this map.
A dominant performance here for the guard from beginning to end. Everything that we saw, it just feels like it was going according to plan in every way possible. I mentioned it, right? Even those duels, they gave that 50-50 chance for OR to take. The guard, they were just doing it better. And Seldris, that big win condition on Pearl when they were going against M80 just was not here. Never really got contested with the operator on that B side. Went for that A approach and had to play far back because they were expecting the Aldrone to come through, the Dart as well. And even for the last round, the Hunter's Fury from Trent, it was just composition and a combination of utility that the guard likes to bring that is so oppressive to the enemy.
Yeah, I think that point on utility is nail on the head, especially as a Raze, right? Not that I'm saying that this is not a Raze map, but when the Raze wants to go, you don't necessarily have options after you toss down your blast packs. So when you're pushing through art, you start to blast pack as Zeldris, and then you're immediately met with the nano swarm. Then you try and push again, and you're immediately met by that alarm bot. Not that it was just net that did it, but the util usage from the alarm bot and nano swarm out towards art, the turret inside link, then you want to try and hit B. And unfortunately, you're running into Jonah P, who is just absolutely a brick wall of a defender. I mean, that was so incredibly oppressive, and it's exactly why, Dryad. We talked about it coming into this map, that the guard had something cooking. And, I mean, Hey, the grill was fired up. The grill was fired up. OR Esports, yeah.
It's so good. And I love how clean it is, right? Because if you're a guard fan, this is how clean you want every single map to be from them.
Every game has to be a statement game to prove that the guard are on a whole another level, and that's exactly what they've done in this series to get us started, but there is more to come. It's Bind on the docket right after this.
I would honestly choose to live on Lotus, considering like how nice it is and how spacious it is. I think other than that, I don't think I would choose any other maps because I think Lotus is actually a beautiful map. So
for me, I would want to live on Breeze so I can go fishing every day. It's all good. Beach every day sounds great to me.
Probably Lotus, honestly. Like I really enjoy that map. Just going, like, it's really easy to work around. Like if I'm living, it's really easy to get to all places on the map. Like you got the doors and everything. I can get through everywhere.
Maybe I'd choose Bind just because it's kind of like Arizona and I'm from Arizona. I think that's probably my best answer.
To some, this is nothing more than cardboard and ink. But to those who know, these are precious metals, rare gems, a full set it took 15 years to complete. Low-pop rookies, hypnotizing hollows, one of only a handful in the universe, or an heirloom to look after for the next generation. No matter what you collect, raw or graded, to have and to hold, or to crush your opponents with, what matters is that it's real. Introducing eBay's Authenticity Guarantee for trading cards. Our third-party authenticators inspect every detail of your card and compare it to the listing to make sure it's the real deal or no deal, because we know just how much your collection means to you.
Yikes. I don't know what else to say other than yikes. Welcome back to Knights Arena Valorant Challengers North America. Look, I'm trying to be nice because I don't want to like just bash this team, but that is a brutal first map for our Esports. And unfortunately, it's kind of what we expected. We did not think this team was going to come out and light up the server and really find big wins. We were hopeful that they would maybe do well because it is a map that they have excelled on. But ultimately, this is the outcome we thought we'd get to. Did I think it would be this bad? Not necessarily, but did I think it would be exceptionally better than this? No. I thought that Guard was pretty much going to come out and shred OR, and I think that was the expectation many had coming into today. It's two teams on two different levels. Like we talked about it at the top of this, Tanner. Guard went to Iceland for an international event. This is the first time that OR is competing in this. They were the last team to qualify through the LCQ. Even though they earned their spot just like everyone else, and they did it with a big win over Sonics, effectively murdering that team. This is kind of where we thought the series would go. It's just unfortunate because we said it. It's like back-to-back weeks. They're facing off against really difficult opponents.
Very, very difficult opponents. And for OR Esports, comfortability would be key against a strong team like the Guard. But comfortability does not beat a team that is more comfortable. Unfortunately, that's just not enough. Some of my notes coming into this for OR Esports from last series to this one is they typically have relatively low cast as a team. So you're not having people finding kills, assists, the survivability is not there. But I think most importantly, the trades are what's missing. And the way that the Guard in any situation, even players down, the way that they played off of one another, I mean, a masterpiece. It was impossible for OR Esports to even wrap their head around what was happening in these retakes or in these site hits. The Guard played so beautifully together.
I think, you mentioned your notes. My notes for this would be to take notes. Dryad, I think you touched upon it. Like, this is a learning experience for this team.
Yeah.
They're playing against a team that is of very high caliber, very well respected in the scene. Some honestly look at this team as a team that probably should have made VPP in their minds, and that's obviously to be discussed at a larger level than just here. This is a team that did really well last year, so you knew coming into this that this is going to be difficult. So ultimately, don't get down because you're losing. Figure out how to take what's happening now and convert that to success later. Failure is just a way to produce success later, Dryad. And honestly, moving into map number 2, I'm not convinced that we're going to see any major uptick in performance.
Yeah, I mean, it is so difficult because not only the match itself, it's difficult by itself because you're going against the Guard, but because you're coming from a map where you would potentially think it was going to be at least a little bit closer, something like 6 rounds, and that wasn't even the case, right? And those win conditions that they had against M80 just were not there. So you're coming down and you're really looking forward to reset and see what can be done. But we just know how strong the Guard are, especially with this momentum going on for them. We know that you're not going to let it go.
To the benefit of OR Esports, at this point in the series, though, you have absolutely nothing to lose. You have absolutely nothing to prove, right? Going into Pearl, there's so much pressure because you guys are almost perfect on this map. You have to win everything on Pearl. You have to beat everybody on Pearl. Now that it's by the wayside, they can come into Bind, throw caution to the wind, and just play however they want to play. There are no expectations.
Well, we wish OR Esports the best of luck. The Agent Select is ready for map number 2. The Guard coming off an impressive map 1 victory. It's going to be a difficult and uphill journey for OR to try to force this to a 3-map series. And it seems like it may not be in the cards, but Agent Select is ready. Take it away.
Thank you again, Bach. Agent Select here for map 2, Dryad. I can't expect any Yorus here, but what I can expect is hopefully OR Esports to play a bit more loose, to play a bit more fluid, and again, play like they have nothing to lose, because they really don't. They're not expected to win Bind. I don't even know if they were expected to win Pearl, even though they're 11-1 on the map. But now that it's gone by the wayside, they can just play their game.
And the compositions are gonna look exactly the same for the two teams. But one thing that we got to see last week, right? And we didn't see it being maybe the most highlighted thing about the Guard and the way that they won Bind, but it's Trent for the first time playing this duelist role here, this Raze role here on Bind, and it feels like more than anything they did exactly what we saw in Pro, right? A lot of combinations with the utility, a lot of ways to shut down and slow down potentially that aggression that we saw from DSG last week. But for OR, it feels like when you're playing that mirror match, it's just so scary, right? Because the better coordinated team should be able to take down those duels, to play for those crossfires. And if story tells us anything, and history tells us anything, that is that the Guard should be better at that.
That they should. It's game time here for map 2. We load into Bind. And the Guard looking to keep this win streak moving forward. They're looking to add some extra tally some extra rounds in that differential to try and cement their spot in first place. We'll see if OR Esports can put up a fight for it. I mean, aggression's on the docket here, Dryad. Look at this.
And as aggressive as he gets for a quick entry into Lamps, but it's not going to find anything just yet, though. And it seems like on the defense, right, for OR, you're going to give up that space for a little bit.
Snake Bite already used from OR Esports. Nilly didn't have that piece of utility to try and delay that spike plant any longer. So it will go down and the crunch will come through, but the guard are ready for it. Two players watching the flank here. And the bullets are flying, but the bodies are starting to drop, and unfortunately it's not in favor of OR Esports. I don't know what flavor we're getting here. It's not a good one for the defense. It's red here for the guard, so I'm assuming something cherry, something strawberry, maybe something watermelon as we close it out. It's 4 kills for the IGL and the player we highlighted in this series, and the guard pick up right where they left off.
Almost another ace. The second one that he would get in Challengers so far, but only makes it to 4. They're just playing so well, regardless, though, right? You have 2 players watching that same angle, expecting that push to come through. And it is just one of the things that you have to job with, right? Your Sentinel is only a Sage. You know that the Sage wall is going to get invested to get that spike planted, and everybody from OR going for a similar approach. It doesn't work out, so pissed around, going to set up the guard, and I'm wanting to take a little bit more of that B control. There's 3 players here, though. Even when we got to see last week the guard and a couple of the rounds of their struggle, it was because they were not really accounting for the aggression that DSG was bringing to them to be clear on the race. But you don't have the factor really with OR. You don't always have Seldris going in, especially on the defensive stride. So it becomes a lot easier for the guard to just take care of these situations, go into the post plants. I mean, and you have a Viper. You're gonna have a Sage as well for the delay. You're gonna have the paint shells. There's so much to invest.
OR Esports, very, very desperate to find a kill out towards B long. The entire time, Jonah P's been on the wrong side of the map. Meanwhile, the spike is planted, and 2 players were still hoping to find the kill out towards long to get a weapon in their hands. But the play call has 5 players stack up inside the spawn. Is to, well, play exits, try and strip away some of the weaponry that the guard brought into this round. Valen walks on up. Oh, a few players jump on through. He still finds his one, and now it's just left to die to the spike as the kill feed floods in green. The guard happy to have their second.
I can't believe their Vipers dumping all that shit in the air.
2 rounds here. And even with all players alive, right, the weapons were not the strongest. The utility not really present for OR, so just trying to die to the spike and try to go next here. So the guard is not looking too bad, right? When you have those bulldogs, you have the close range and that long range covered for the most part. And last map, they did exactly this. They won that 3rd round. They made it look fairly simple, but OR, they want another story to be told here in Bind, and we're gonna see if they can make it happen.
I think all eyes on Valen in this round. I think that orbital strike is going to be a big piece of utility that helps the guard win this round. If not win the round, close the gap on what you were saying, right? Is these weapons maybe doing a bit better in these closer ranges. So we'll see how they choose to pilot that one as information picked up by Jonah 6 that players are out towards B long.
The key thing here is going to be that information early on, but yeah, you talked about it. The orbital strike is going to get invested. Nobody, though, is going to get caught in it.
Oh, no shot. Nilly falls asleep. No way. Trent does it again. They just look to take the fights. The blast packs make things a little weird. Zeldris tries to find the spam. Incendiary at his feet, though. It's going to force Trent forward, but I mean, at this point in the round, what do you even do? Net gonna get caught on the flank, so this one may be a bit more digestible? No. OR Esports, they just want to save.
Oh, and immediately backing up, right? You have 3 players. It was still doable, but that positioning from the guard just a little too strong and hunting for the kills as well. Having some fun with it. It is the same thing, right? And the question is if that 3rd round is going to go the same way or not, but it just a matter of time before guard, they get to 3. They continue building that economy, and you can tell they're feeling themselves.
On the hunt.
I can't
Gonna
stand
be-
the skin, please.
Oh.
Okay.
I mean, at the end of the day, the desired result is found. VNS dies to tech, so another weapon stripped away. You already mentioned the economy. It's great on the side of the guard. They're all right to reinvest into this one. And Valorant says, guys, I'm just going to hang on to the Bulldog. I don't see why not. This is going to be an awful buy for OR Esports. That's a tough pill to swallow in their first buy round.
Yeah, absolutely. It goes down the same way. I think the win condition here for OR is going for a little bit of what we saw from DSG from Clear last week, and it was that like over aggression with the race, just satcheling into backside, trying to surprise and catch the guard off guard. So
nice.
Can they actually make it happen though? Because you see that hesitation from Celsius, right? You get that support, you get your Sky next to you, but still doesn't seem to be enough. What about a trade though?
Dropped.
That's the duality of player right there. Nilly picks up the kill, doesn't feel comfortable enough to push forward, and Zeldra's feeling a little too
Just
comfortable.
going in.
Yeah.
Even after knowing that there were a couple players in that area, and still managed to get nothing. Spike planted. 2 remaining here. Lear and
Player
Nilly
standing.
with not too much to do. And it just becomes easier and easier. This is exactly what I was saying for the guard, right? When it comes to the combination of utility that we see early on, that early presence just seems to be doing the job.
This one stings. At the end of the day, it was a lighter buy for OR Esports, so they're going to have an investment into the next round, even if Nilly dies here. Well, Nilly's a little low. He might be light shields or a little lesser on the utility, so he does want to save this Phantom and buy what he can, but the rest of the team behind him should be able to bring in something. Unfortunately, they've shown us something, and it wasn't quite enough.
I feel like it gets so scary when we see round after round after round of trying at least to save those rifles for OR. It feels like you see it once in a while and it makes sense. You're trying to save that economy, but then you're trying to play too safe. And against the guard, you can't really do that, right? You actually need that aggression that I talked about from Sellers. Going in, double satching, trying to get some value with that initiator, with that guiding light. Just looking for any form of green light for this team.
We've got a bit of a yellow light. Another wall up. Inside showers. That'll slow things down. It doesn't seem like the guard are respecting the yellow, though. Instead of slowing down, they're going to speed up. Make it through the intersection before it turns red. Meanwhile, the rest of the team has already worked their way up short. Just behind the Trailblazer is net. And he's going to net himself a kill. Nilly falls, gets trapped up by the guards. Viper and the site has been conceded again. So a 4v5 for OR Esports. And what do they have to play with? They've got Seekers of their own, but they need to find a kill. They're trying to play together. They've all backed off the site, and the guard are happy. They're happy with that.
Even with those Seekers, right? It's so difficult. Even an
walled
incendiary
himself.
kill from far away.
He wall... No. What was that wall? Somehow, someway, an incendiary kill happened. And it's forced OR Esports to once again save. Going to peek and make sure it's only 2 rifles instead of 3. Net now looking to go aggressive. No way. Shots through the wall. I mean, the read is just perfect. And the guard are playing perfect.
It's gotta be so frustrating for the side of OR. Going for different approaches, going for different ideas. For that Sage wall to slow down the push into showers, and still all those plans, they don't really have the impact. it is a little bit similar to what we saw from OR when they were going against M80 on Haven. Where the topic of conversation was, where is Seldris? Because the team, as of right now, because it is a team that, you know, doesn't have the guard experience, doesn't have the crazy experience that other teams have, it's gonna be really taking advantage of it and trying to rely on Seldris for those duels and for that early presence. And if that's not there, then you can see how much you're struggling.
I need to go back and look at that round. Did Tex walk up, wall, pipes, and then Valen mollied it, and Lear died to it?
Maybe.
The way that if that's what happened, the way that it happened, it makes no sense to me because Tex was so far off the site.
It felt really weird, right? To even see the kill coming up.
That's just the guard doing guard things.
Yeah, you already know.
I think I've said that phrase 6 too many times on the broadcast, but they just keep doing it. They just keep doing guard things. They just continue to prove.
You just can't really picture any other team coming up with microplays and strategies the way that the guard do. They're so creative. They're so unique to them as well, and I feel like that is what it makes it so difficult to go against them.
Oh no. Hand spotted. Jonah should be dealt with. No, Trent actually falls. Good 1-for-1. Stinger still proven to be proficient in the close range battles. Unfortunately, that was one Stinger of, well, the rest of the Thrifty round, which is basically 4K invested in total for all of OR Esports. Valen gonna get the spike planted. Post plant readily available should they need it. Net plane off the site will find the kill on the first lurker. And it does seem he is ready for the next. It's gonna be Nilly. Pop their way on up and know the timing, just escaping one another. And the other two for OR Esports, they're walled up.
Yeah,
they don't
they're
really
stuck.
have any options.
They're stuck. They don't have the best weapons to break the wall as well to make it fast, and all that. Just time that works out so well for the guard as they make it to 6. The executing to B also looks so different for the guard. They get that early pick, they get that early trade, and oftentimes we see the paint chills going backside. We also see the snake bite as well as the slow, everything. But they're saving so many of those for way longer than they would have to, right? Because I didn't really see that early and that over-aggressive contest from OR Esports. This should be a big one, though. Rifles in the hands of the defense. 3, potentially 4 ultimates available. And an early pick. Good way to start it off, though. Again, gets traded. Trend ready for it.
And that's not bad, though, right? If you're going to kill anybody on this team, you absolutely want to kill Valen. Not only does he lead from the front in way of value, but one controller off the table, and Net's utility has already been placed. He can't put that wall down in any other way to try and help him on this A site. They're obviously going to have a hard time pushing through this Viper pit as well, so Nilly hits the domain expansion, and that's going to flip the guard on their head. Meanwhile, Jonah 6 out towards the fountain. He might get more than he bargained for here, and that's exactly the case. There's 3 players there, only 1 peaks, and it's Trent to win the duel out this time around, getting revenge for that round previous.
There's actually 2 of those players for OR Esports playing inside of the Viper's pit. It means the only one is going to be up close here, but we talked about those ultimates. So many of them were available. So many of them are going to be invested, actually. And numbers, actually, for OR in what feels like forever.
And Jonah P, the linchpin in this round, though. It's going to take a long rotate if the guard want to get back out towards B. And yes, if he could find this kill, it would be absolutely huge and confirming this B hit. But he doesn't. DNS wins the duel. Nilly inside his pit. Going to spot the barrel, spots the arms, and takes him down. OR Esports are on the board.
Finally on the board for OR Esports. Earlier than what we got to see on Pearl. And having to invest that rest and that Viper spin. Keeping 2 of the players there, right? Sometimes we just see that Viper up close. Well, because of the angle and the push where it can be coming from the guard, it was a good adaptation
Let's go.
for OR. Now, they don't have too much. The guard, the satchel into showers. It's going for that aggression again.
I didn't even realize the gun combo. The Raze Cat Phantom for Trent. Shout out Trent for that one. They also invested, by the way, OR Esports, in Orbital Strike in that last round. So it was a very costly round in way of ultimates.
Yeah, absolutely. And they had all those ultimates available when sometimes it takes all of that to get that first round, right? To get something going on, and you want to get it as early as possible, so it had to be that round number 7. But Tex has an operator, by the way. And I feel like that's been the story for the guard. Everybody can hold an operator at any point, and you just have to be ready for it.
Yep. You just have to absolutely give respect to the op here. Orbital Strike in response. Let's clear things out. Close showers. Meanwhile, out towards short. Trent and Jonah P making quick work of the defense. But speaking of quick, look at this flank. It's so fast. Trapping Jonah P here on the site for a second as Jonah 6 works his way on up. He'll find his kill, but there for the trade was Trent. And 2 players to the good are the guard.
And a little bit closer, but still not enough to close it out. In that 1v2 for OR Esports. And a rough buy once again. Seldris, showstopper. And then, I believe 2 rounds ago now, where we saw that entry towards A, he got his 1. And wanting to go for the aggression, the showstopper is a perfect opportunity to do so, but what hope do you have for the other side? For the distance, for the actual Guardians to connect good enough? It's all trades.
And that's the worst part. It is all trades. That is the strength of the guard. We saw it in map 1. We get it again in map 2. Here comes the showstopper though. Trying to clear his corners. Sends that shot right back, and it's too much base for Nilly to handle. And it's a player ahead now. It's a pit to work through for OR Esports. And both defenders, the only 2 remaining, are on opposite sides of the map. They're going to try their hand at linking up. But with the Sheriff and a Phantom, what can they get done? Trent's going to drop down, pushes up, takes care of the Sheriff. Now only the Phantom to work with. The spikes on the outside of the pit. Wow, Trent, okay, just ready on the angle. What a shot there. And Lear, much like the Phantom in his hands, becomes a ghost as the guard will find their 8th.
No, I don't really like this map. I don't really like to play this map, but I'm kind of sad that we're not going to see it in future weeks, because I love seeing Trent and Brace. I mean,
same.
It has been so fun. Honestly, I love him on Soba, and I think he's just an insane player overall, but there's Raze. I don't know how much more that we can get with everything that he's doing, right? And the way that he just works together along with the guard. It seems so clean. We got to see last week, and we get a little bit more today.
I've got your
Jonah v Jonah, and Jonah comes out on top. Sky v Sky, Sky comes out on top as the Seekers come through, and that's going to put Nilly in a tough spot. He's going to try and run to safety, but Trent too quick onto the site in way of the blast packs. Is Valen once more allowed to plant this spike, working towards that orbital strike. Meanwhile, the defense, scattered the wrong side of the map. We've got Lear all on his lonesome.
But again, it just feels so late. It feels like the timing is off for these to come through, for these to be effective. What a shot as well to take down Seldris. Oh, Pure VNS almost fighting back.
Yeah, that was
too, but
a shot from Tex.
Clean.
Responded to by 2 beautiful shots from Pure VNS, but just not enough.
Yeah, that's what I said, right? That the timing for these flanks and for these retakes, it seems off more often than not for OR. They're pushing from long, they're pushing from hookah, and at that point, the guard have already cleared what is the backside and what is elbow to make their job a little bit easier. to get the last couple frags. In the last couple of rounds here of this first half, for OR, for the fans of OR, you're hoping it goes their way, but now expecting the aggression read so well.
I mean, yeah, it's desperation at this point, right? The guard know that OR Esports have to do something crazy to start to win these rounds, and they're pushing aggressively, trying to find timings that are going to catch the guard off guard. That was the call here for round 11. Unfortunately, it did not come to fruition the way that they were hoping.
Yeah, absolutely not. And then the secrets have to be invested. Didn't really give you too much. They didn't really say too much. He's using everything here. Those were the two ultimates available that OR had, and they got nothing.
Dealt with, yep, as a blast pack will force the defuse to come off, but the kills are coming through, and Jonah 6 with 3 HP. Gonna cut it down to Jonah P, who tries to spray on through, and OR Esports have done it. And eBay Thrifty here for their second round, 9-3 doable here for the defense.
Oh, what an odd round. So back and forth, 2 players remaining here. And just played so well. The orbital strike didn't get anything, but at least it managed to clear that side, a part of the map, for that defeat to come through, for OR to make it to 2 rounds. So hey, you take anything at this point if you're on this side. Last round here could potentially be 9-3. But OR haven't been able to win those rounds in a row, right? So that is one of the biggest problems that they're gonna have here.
A good start though. Trent low HP. They can look to deal with that raise. He's still healthy enough to send out the util though. Not healthy enough to get through the incendiary. VNS, good start to the round. Unfortunately, he's dealt with, and Fallon gets 2 right back, but not before Jonah pushes through a res and a kill. And just like that, the Garter back in the driver's seat, 1 player ahead, as Lear and Zeldris can only hope to pick up the pieces here. Spike to be planted. Showstopper out. Unfortunately, Zeldris doesn't quite make it through the door. Shots into Hookah, and it's only damage traded. No, that rocket gets absolutely nothing. So the paint shells are trying to keep him at bay, and it's all up to Zeldris. Net low in HP, so he'll tuck away. Jonah P, first to play the tap. Net with no utility. As the flash comes through, it finds nothing. Jonah now looking to swing, gonna play the jump peek, and the health it continues to whittle away, but Zeldris has to go aggressive and make the play. In the 1v2, against all odds, Jonah P just playing the jiggle so perfect, and shots through the wall will be enough. From 11-1 to 10-2, the guard keep the lead at the half.
Now the second map where the guard gets double digits before we even get to see the second half, right? What an insane performance from this team so far. And I think a really good showcase of it is the exchange of utility that we saw early on this B side, with paint shows going back and forth, with the incendiary actually managing to get a kill. And even with how quick the trades are to happen, you think for a second OR are gonna play a 5v4, a 5v3, and the guard just answers back, goes for the rest. There's always something more that they're ready to do and planning to do. Pistol round is everything that you're holding on to for OR.
Yeah, and they have to have something funky hooked up here for the attack. I mean, the guard, assuming they live up to their name here and playing defense. 5 players here, Dryad. All 5 A short. Oh, well, make it 4. Make it 4. Trent just goes fishing through the smoke, and he comes out with one of the largest catches that you could hope for. Paint shells should also do some damage here on the planter, and Lear, who does sneak away, only taking minimal damage. And incendiary will stop the push through U-Haul, and there's a wall to deal with.
It's still very much doable here for OR. There's a crossfire, but as the wall goes down, it becomes so much more difficult to get any value out of it. As Trent manages to get 2. Net coming from a flank as well.
One enemy remaining.
And Net's just here. Net
standing.
is absolutely just here as he just causes the chaos for the team to push on through. And Trent will collect the kill in the 1v1. Health was low on both ends. But Trent lives up to his name as a clutch master here for the guard. And the 11th has been picked up. That pistol round, that very important pistol round, has now turned into a very important force for OR Esports.
Yeah. Trent in that round is handling it to perfection. Getting one, backing up. Doesn't get stunned with the paint shells. I mean, everything working out for the player here. As like you said, the force is gonna be everything for OR. It's a risky one, especially when you want to commit to this kind of aggression. Soldier is no longer here, no longer in the lobby. Tex is gonna handle it, and after that, immediately a wall. I mean, that push already so well slowed down.
And is that for real? Right? That your thought at the start of the round. Is that really how this round starts for OR Esports? Again, they just cannot catch a break. Zeldris wants to go aggressive, and Tex is just a crazy person finding that kill in a 1-for-2 trade when you're down 11-2. That just feels awful. There's a lot of time left.
Yep.
A teleporter still available. OR Esports in the trenches, Nilly in the trenches. Beautiful paint shells. The util, it just keeps getting better.
Yeah, it just gets better and better somehow for the guard, for Trent. Because now, they know exactly where the last two players of OR Esports are gonna be located. And they can't push forward.
There.
Can't get too much done here.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Okay, well, I mean, Jonah 6, he makes it look doable. One
Yeah.
pip away. He's gonna have the ultimate after he plants here. So all said and done, the guard maybe not showing enough respect. No way, the backstab. Jonah 6 was spotted by Jonah P, who is quite a bit healthier. Flash to work with, though. Jonah 6, and again, the ultimate right behind it. We'll see if he chooses to invest. Jonah P just playing time so perfectly. Unfortunately, the Phantom penetrates just a bit better than the Spectre. Jonah 6 did not have the weaponry for that duel. And the guard will find their 12.
And it gets closed right at the end, right? It seems like that was not even going to be the case, and the guard expected to take care of those duels a little bit faster than they did. With the Spectres especially, but it doesn't even matter at the end, those 1v1s, and this is what I mean, right? When it comes down to those duels, for this matchup specifically, it just seems like the guard is on top of the game in every way that you can imagine.
Yeah.
One more round here. Series point to close it out. In a 2-0 fashion for the guard. Potentially even a better score than they did in Pearl.
Got your trail.
Okay, that's the start that the guard were hoping to find. Or not the guard, excuse me, OR Esports, right? Get Zeldris in there, allow him to find a kill, and they've done so. That is traded at the end of the day as Jonah 6 gets a little too aggressive up atop the box, and Trent will deal with that aggression. Says anger management for you, and I will be your counselor as the next one falls. No flashes available, but the B site, this has been assumed. The guard bid on this flank, or on this fake, excuse me.
Spike planted.
A little bit of noise, a little bit of aggression on the A side, and in the meantime, though, the problem is in numbers. There's a showstopper available for Trent to work into this retake, and all those retakes for them have been working out in ways that they couldn't seem possible, and Trent getting an opener, that should be it for OR.
It is the firing squad here on the other side, though. The boombox came out, but there's just no music behind it. Nilly gonna get 2 kills of his own as Valen tries to hang on, running out of time. Lear on the opposite side of the wall. Is he expecting this? No, he wasn't. Lear on the angle a bit better. In OR Esports, they get to try again.
And in another 1v1 for OR to stay alive on this series, on this map a little bit longer. This is good though. Good chance for them. Rifles, attacking side, and a little bit more of a proactive position where they want to put soldiers in. We've seen it now for a couple rounds. The double satchel into showers, the double satchel into hookah. They're attempting these different aggressive setups. And it attempting to get that +1 as we see more of them.
Bomb buddy out.
I had a bad feeling about this round. This is one of those rounds where the guard just do something crazy. They snap, and they end up winning it, but Nilly helps soothe my mind. He soothes my thoughts. But Trent eventually able to capitalize. No way. A 2 for 2 overall. Net comes back with another one. Zeldris here to protect the weapon zone, and Net has his knife out. So it's a Sheriff and a Marshal. The classic pushes on through, not even the Marshal. Jonah P didn't feel good with the scoped rifle. 1 pip away. 1 kill away from the resurrection, but he'll find it in Way of Death. And OR Esports put another on the board.
4 rounds for OR, but still match point, series point for the guard. Into what was a very, very scary eco round coming through. Trent managing to get 2. And a couple more that get traded. Still, it is, I feel like, the one scary scenario, right? Trying to reset, trying to take it round by round. With 2 ultimates more, 1 more ultimate at least potentially available if they're able to fight for this orb. And Trent doesn't want to let that happen.
Ooh, I'm actually surprised he backs off from that, right? Still having the paint shells. You can play relatively safe in just throwing the paint shells on whoever wants to try and grab this orb.
Yeah, just playing it super far back.
I guess to that point, right? This is how you deal with the showstopper. Just stay away from it. So they give up all the space. They'll actually allow OR Esports to push onto this site, especially with that pit down. That pit has done so much in buying rotations over. It does look like OR Esports want to hit this site still. Wall inside. Hookah makes that ultimate, and the Seekers get a little weird. Here comes the showstopper, though, deep into the back site. Then nobody pipes, so nobody damaged theirs. As one singular Seeker makes its way onto the sites. Orbital Strike available, not quite used just yet. As Net finds a kill onto Zeldris. Trent finds 2 of his own. And there's that Orbital Strike that you mentioned. Now Flash on the backside as VNS just wanted to try and play post-plant, but he's already used the Incendiary to keep the flank at bay. Now Nilly tries to stay alive inside the pit. Unfortunately, he's dealt with, and that'll do it. The guard do guard things, and they slam this one shut. There is no page in this guard book of OR Esports. Scribbled out, X'd out, an investor flawless to close out the series in dominant fashion.
A 13-3 and a 13-4 for the guard today to close it out. To give no chance, no hope for OR to work with. No momentum, nothing. Just domination over and over again. And this is why this team is so scary. This is why the guard is #1 in everybody's list. It just looks so clean.
I'm sure Bach is here with us. He's probably just making another face again at at another yikes performance here.
Look, I don't want to drag OR down. It's already hard enough for them, obviously, to lose the series the way that they did. But again, I think that the way we frame this is just, hey, this is a learning experience, right? Like, you're a young team coming in. It's no different than when the guard